There are countless books, white papers, blog posts, workshops, and TED Talks about building a community, all offering complex models and guidelines. A strong and cohesive community is pretty simple. It's just bringing together people with similar interests and challenges to learn, connect, and serve for the good of themselves and others. Communities that make a difference understand the chances one gives are just as important as the chances one takes. That's why CEO.com clubs exist, to give and take chances on ourselves and others. CEO.com clubs are exclusive, invite-only communities that connect visionary leaders based on specific challenges, industry focus, and leadership goals. We do this in various ways, including providing a private social network for community members only, highly curated leadership events, access to our member directory, and, well, you get the idea. You can learn all about the array of benefits at ceo.com/clubs. More than anything, what CEO.com clubs uniquely do better than anyone else is bringing leaders with similar interests and challenges together to ask each other the following two questions. How can I help you? And how can we give a chance to someone else? If you're a leader in a specific industry who wants to give and take chances on yourself and others, CEO.com has a club for you. Life is more gratifying and full of purpose when you become someone who gives as many chances as you take.
Now, if I ask any CEO, they would say, okay, what's the difference between $1 million to 5, from 5 million to 10? They say, if I just tweak my product, if I just have the right service, then I know I can scale. But if we take, for instance, two companies started on the same block in 1967, Joe's Hamburger Joint and McDonald's. Fast forward to today, Joe's Hamburger Joint, mom and pop shop, they put all their love and adoration into every burger, and they are still one location working nights and weekends. Whereas McDonald's is the largest grossing hamburger joint in the world. And I can tell you they don't have a superior burger. And I'm a vegetarian and I know that.
Amanda, thank you so much for coming on the show. You are the CEO of Chet Holmes International. Incredible. You are Amanda Holmes. Tell us how you became the CEO.
It's a little bit different than what many experience, but I was a singer-songwriter. My father had a very successful marketing and sales training company. We've assisted 250,000 businesses worldwide. We've helped over 85 of the Fortune 500. And as a 3-time singer-songwriter, 3 albums, my father then got diagnosed with leukemia. And I'm sure it's an experience that many actually sadly go through, as I have a client in healthcare. 1 in every 3 males today get diagnosed with cancer, and 1 in every 2 females get diagnosed with cancer. So my father was diagnosed and we battled for 1.5 years. But in all that time, he never sat me down and said, here are all my businesses. Here's what they do. I want you to pass on, be the one to pass on the baton. We never had those dialogues, even though he spent 382 nights in the hospital and never once a night alone. So I spent over 100 all-nighters with him there. And then he sadly passed away and I inherited a couple hundred staff at 24. So it was a shocking ordeal. And here I am 12 years later, second generation. In the first year that I stepped in as CEO, I increased our leads by 1,100. I am so sorry. That is the weather saying that a hurricane is headed my way. I did not anticipate that.
Amanda is in Tampa for those who are watching this or listening to this. And by the time this will air, the hurricane will already hit. But you got a hurricane category 3 hurricane barreling down on you.
Yes, I have told my phone to be silent, but I guess national security of a tornado coming or a hurricane coming stops that from doing that. So I apologize.
How incredible. Don't apologize. Are you kidding? Like, that's a freaking hurricane. How incredible is it that you're still doing this with that happening and you've made the time? Thank you so much. I mean, that shows your character right there. It's unbelievable.
I appreciate it. Well, anyways, I stepped in as CEO after 2 years of trying to fill that void. I went through many different C-suites. And in my first year, we managed to increase the leads by 1,176%. We doubled coaching clients multiple years consecutively. I've doubled our sales ongoing. I wrote the new edition of Ultimate Sales Machine, which hit the bestseller list 15 years after my father wrote the original. So we have continued on and persevered. And I have to say that it really boiled down to two things. One was I picked up the book that my father's so well known for, Ultimate Sales Machine, and I just read it over and over and over again. I watched his training videos over and over and over again. And so I am a product of our product. I believe in it wholeheartedly. It is why we are still here today. And then secondly, the whole mental aspect of how to overcome, I am so sorry, overcoming adversity, like right now. I was very involved in a nonprofit called Divine Bliss International, and they really helped me overcome the mental health pieces of feeling like I'm just a female in a sales training organization, or I'm in my 20s and all of my clientele are baby boomers. So many limiting beliefs that helped me break through, and I really am grateful for that nonprofit for that.
Well, one, let me offer condolences for the loss of your father. That must have been incredibly difficult. And I can't even imagine having to take over a company at the same time and understand how to run it and build it. And the fact that your first year doing that, you increased at the number that you said is just unbelievable. So congratulations to that and condolences. My son just went through treatment for Hodgkin's lymphoma. He luckily survived that and came out, but cancer is the worst and it touches all of us. And so condolences for that. I want to talk about what Chet Holmes International does, because it does a lot of things, and you mentioned the book, which your father is known for. Now you are known for as well, but it's all about sales, marketing, coaching, as I understand it. So give us like a sales 101 on what people should be thinking about.
Well, Clint, let me ask you a question. What
Sure.
percentage of businesses do you think make it to $1 million in annual sales?
10.
It's actually close. It's 8% today.
Oh,
It
okay.
was 10 years ago, it was 5%. Now we've improved to 8%. So then from 1 million to 5, 0.08% of companies make it to 5 million. But then your chances improve from 5 million to 10 million. You jump up to 1.5%, make it to 10 million, and 0.004% make it to 100 million and beyond. Now, if I ask any CEO, they would say, okay, what's the difference between 1 million to 5, from 5 million to 10? They say, if I just tweak my product, if I just have the right service, then I know I can scale. But if we take, for instance, two companies started on the same block in 1967, Joe's Hamburger Joint and McDonald's. Fast forward to today, Joe's Hamburger Joint, mom and pop shop, they put all their love and adoration into every burger, and they are still one location working nights and weekends. Whereas McDonald's is the largest grossing hamburger joint in the world. And I can tell you they don't have a superior burger. And I'm a vegetarian and I know that. So the difference that it takes to get from 1 million to 5, from 5 million to 10, from 10 million to 100 million and beyond are really the skills. And those skills can be developed. So mastery isn't about doing 4,000 different things, even though our shiny object brain thinks so today. It's actually about honing in and focusing on just a few that with 4,000 reps, you get to mastery. So if we can hone in on just those few skill sets that it takes to make those leaps, then we can see that growth. And that's what we do, is we train on those skills to get to each revenue mark and beyond.
What are those skill sets? Just at a high level, of course.
Yes. Well, actually, every skill is a chapter from Ultimate Sales Machine. So a place where we love to start is time management. So billionaires have the same 24 hours in a day, and yet why do they get so much more done? So we have time management secrets of billionaires. There's just 6 simple steps that can improve your productivity by 500%, and it only takes 15 minutes to do so. Sounds too good to be true, but we've been training on this for decades now. So it's a system that works. Another one is, how do you identify quality clients? So that we call the Dream 100. It's the fastest, least expensive way to double sales. It's the one strategy that has doubled the sales of more companies than any other. So I can train on that even on this call with us today. How to get 9 times more clients from every move you're already making. That's all around messaging, because so often I mean, 15 years ago, the average company would market on 7 different marketing mediums. Today, we're on an average of 15 to 21 different marketing mediums because of all the advances of technology. So what do we do to be able to hone in and focus our message so it actually gets across what we need to get them to take action, and make sure that it's saying it on a medium where our ideal clients actually are, instead of just praying and hoping for the best. So those are ideas. Hiring sales superstars is another one, right? Many going on from that. If you want, I can list them all off, but I'd rather just focus on a few.
Yeah, everyone should buy the book. That's kind of the main point. So make sure you buy that. What about, how is sales going to change in the age of artificial intelligence? How are you thinking about that?
Oh, that is a great question. Well, I think everyone said over and over and over again, right, that those that don't use AI will be left behind. And I'm personally seeing it. So we have processes where we do data analysis of your clientele to really understand what keeps them up at night. And we'll analyze thousands of pieces of data and then boil that down to a simple story that can grab the attention and compel them enough to educate them into why they should work with you and nobody else, where you are the logical conclusion. That process used to take us 3 months if a client was difficult, 5 months, 6 months if they weren't replying back. Now we're able to do that same thing in 2 weeks because of the use of AI. Now that's because we're aggregating so much information, but it still takes a human to understand which strategy is actually most beneficial, because, right, AI is just aggregating information. So the quicker that you can set up a whole sales pipeline of information, like if somebody comes into your world and now you need to automate 5 emails, those 5 emails can be written by AI, at least a first version that maybe gets you 60% of the way in, a shocking period of time, in 60 seconds or less. Is it good? That's also questionable. That takes human discernment, right? But the speed at which we can create content, the speed at which we can automate, it's just unprecedented. So if you don't have those pieces, then you will get left in the dust. But we still have to think about the human aspect. I have to invent a word to describe it. And maybe you know of a word that describes the AI vernacular. It still comes out like a robot. I read it and I go, that just doesn't feel right to me in my bones. So I take what they have as a structure and caress it and massage it and A/B test it and continue to refine it. So we still need to create that human aspect, or all of that content will go to waste. And even before AI, 80% of content that was online was actually hindering the probability of a sale, because we were still just being tactical about putting out as much as possible without thinking about the quality. So there's that aspect, but we have a balance, right, of the human piece to discern and to qualify and to make sure that AI is helping us with the human parts and the just the tactical deployments. But it's, obviously shocking. I wouldn't be the first to say that.
Do you think it becomes more important, the human connection piece, as soon we'll all have these same tools and AI automating everything about the process, probably, automating your Salesforce or CRM or whatever you're doing, like, analyzing that. Pretty soon that's just going to be table stakes, right? That you're going to be able to do that. So does the human connection become even more important at that point?
Absolutely. I definitely seen it over the last decade when we build out what a marketing and sales go-to-market strategy looks like. We're bringing in way more personal stories than we ever have before. Obviously with social media, right? User-generated content is so much more powerful than having something that's flashy and looks nice and is polished. People, we see it with generations, right? The baby boomer generation trusts the 5 p.m. news more than anything else. The millennial generation will trust a mom blogger over the 5 p.m. news. It's just shocking where our trust is going. We want to trust the human capability. So I 100% agree with you.
What does a typical day look like for you?
Oh, may I ask a follow-up question of why do you ask that? What is the function for needing that question? Because it's very different a lot. So I'm curious why you ask.
We have a lot of executives, a lot of leaders, a lot of CEOs who watch this, and getting a sense for how leaders organize their day, and the fact that no day is typical is actually really interesting.
I love that. Well, for me, I travel a ton. and I'm on site and I'm doing keynotes very often. But I think it might be beneficial to at least give you a piece of what we do with time management. So I will not start a day without listing off my top 6 priorities of what I need to accomplish within the day. It either happens the day before or the day of. And we recommend not writing more than 6 because it's very easy to just do a to-do list of 20 different things and then you feel good checking it off. It's a dopamine hit, but it doesn't affect the actual prioritization of what needs to get accomplished. So with those 6, I'll then number them, what's most important, and then I'll actually quantify how much time do I need to facilitate to get those tasks done, and then I'll put it into my calendar. And very often what I love about this process, I'm explaining to you the 6-step process to improve your productivity by 500%. It's chapter 1. But what I love about this process is, pardon me, I was sick all last week. I've hurricane sickness. It's been a ton of fun over here. So what I love about the process is once I start weaving in, okay, these 3 emails need to happen and it's 45 minutes. Okay, I get this done first. And then I need 2 hours to manage this client delivery that we're doing on site. And then I need another 15 minutes to get this done. When I actually put it into my day, at the end of the day, or very often at the end of the day, we go and look at our to-do list and we realize, oh, the things that I needed to get done the most are still not done. And it just weighs on you. Whereas with this process, if I'm slotting them all into every moment of my day, I can already see, oh, the 3 things that I actually really need to get done today, I have not put into my calendar. So very often I'll have to reorchestrate what I'm putting into my calendar, make sure that the most important priorities are done at the right time, and really being a stickler, we call it pig-headed, disciplined, and determined, to make sure that you have them in the right time slots. And then you get much more clear too about when your most productive times are, which is helpful. For me, I'm really great in 90-minute intervals. I'll do a 90-minute and then I'll take 15 minutes and I'll pick up my guitar. Usually it's within arm's distance, but I just got back from a keynote in Ohio. So I'll pick up my guitar and I'll put into my calendar 15 minutes and I'll sit down and I'll just sing. I'm very big about Sanskrit chants. I believe that it's been proven by science that it expands your mental capabilities. So I'll sit down and do 15 minutes of singing and then I'll go back into another 90-minute sprint. So by facilitating, and you can find those 6 steps in chapter 1, but by actually putting them into your schedule, it helps to better manage your expectations of your day so that by the time that you're done with your day, you've accomplished. And there's a whole section about got-a-minute meetings, like how often do you get stopped by got a minute? Hey, got a minute? Hey, got a minute? I could do a whole bit on that, but there's a whole bit on how to be reactive versus proactive, or the opposite.
Yeah. What are these keynotes and things that you do throughout the country? That sounds really cool.
Yeah, I was just in Austin. It was really fascinating. Are you familiar with Dave Asprey?
That name sounds super familiar.
He was the founder of Bulletproof Coffee.
Okay. Yeah, I know that.
And then he ended up selling it. He's part owner of like 30 different companies, all within biohacking. So he invented the term biohacking. He is the largest biohacking conference. So he wanted to start training biohacking companies because biohacking as an industry is only 10 years old. And yet it's 28 billion in revenue amidst the United States, which is pretty impressive considering chiropractic industry has been around for 125 years and it's only 20 billion. So in 10 years, it's done pretty well for itself. But he wanted to start training biohacking companies on how to grow because they're great at being scientists and doctors, and they have these brilliant inventions that will create huge waves in science. I saw this one guy at the conference that has created a substitute for injecting in your arm with a needle. It instead just blows CO2 on your finger so that we will never have to use needles ever again. I mean, it was just absolutely mind-boggling, the kind of things that they have, but they don't understand pardon me, how to articulate them. So I came in and trained for a 3-day business of biohacking event where I trained them how to pitch, where it was, the real prompt was, can you take a cold prospect to take action in less than 60 seconds? And we went from an average in the room of 4. I love to quantify everything I do. I love data. So they were at a 4. And by the end of the 2.5 days, they were at an 8.5. Which was great. So they learn how to pitch. Day 2, they're all pitching amidst each table and they come up with the top 10. And then the top 10 narrowed down to the top 5, and the top 5 got to pitch in front of the whole room and a celebrity judge panel.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, we need to get you out to do an event for us. That'd be very cool. Let's make sure we make that happen. Amanda, I am like there's a hurricane running down on you. You have I want to let's have you back for sure, but I want to make sure that you survive this hurricane and get the supplies you need. So I'm going to ask the final question, which we ask everyone, and that is, we believe the chances one gives is just as important as the chances one takes. When you hear that, who gave you a chance to get you to where you are today?
I would have to say my spiritual teacher, Guruji. She's the founder of the nonprofit Divine Bliss International. Yeah. She saw me at 24 and said, yeah, you can take over this company. You can be CEO. And I looked at her like, no way. She kept saying, yep, you're going to have to do it. And for 2 years, I said, absolutely not. You are crazy. But she guided me every step of the way on the emotional side. So I'm very grateful for her.
That's incredible. Amanda, stay safe, please. Thank you for everything you do. We'll make sure that we link to your book and everything you do. And I'm sure we'll see you down the road.
Thank you so much, Clint.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.